Hello, Occult Club, and welcome to my first time doing this thing. Um, I have had a pretty bad cold. It's my second time coming down with the same cold. My voice is pretty shot, so instead of doing Hex Radio, which does require a little bit of voice acting, or one of my ASMR RPs, I'm going to do something totally different and read a few choice things off of the No Sleep Reddit. I've spent most of the day going through and finding stuff that I like, so I guess let's get started. Um, there's a hole in my ceiling, posted by Lauren King 22. I know I should call Child Protection Services. I know. There's no reason not to, but I don't want to. This kid, I don't know how to explain it, but something about them makes me stop and put down the phone every time I try. But I can't just keep a random kid, can I? They're not like puppies. There are things you have to do for kids, all sorts of laws about that sort of thing. Let me start from the beginning. A few days ago, I had a guy in to check my house for pests. Pretty standard stuff, really. He walked around tapping on walls for a while, making sure there were no termites anywhere. Then he went to check the roof. A minute or so later, I heard this huge crash from the hallway, right outside my room. Of course, I ran out to check what it was, and I see a damn leg poking out of my ceiling. Turns out the guy tripped. Of course, since plaster isn't really built to hold a full-grown man's weight, he almost went right through. Good thing he caught himself on a beam before that happened. Anyway, now I have this to deal with. It's not too bad. The light still turns on, so I just need to wait for someone to come around and fix it. No big deal, right? That was until that night. I'm a bit of a restless sleeper, so I usually get up for snacks or a drink through the night. When I did, I saw something totally weird. There was a kid's face staring at me from the hole. Not some creepy kid with hair covering their face or shiny eyes or something. Just a normal, kinda dirty looking kid. At first I thought it was a hallucination, but even after I blinked and looked away and back again, the kid was still there. Eventually I called out to him, asking him if he was alright. He didn't respond, but he reached out to me with both arms. I was scared he would fall out of the hole, so I ran to grab a stepladder and really gently lift him down. The whole time, he didn't make a sound. Actually, it's been a few days since then, and he still hasn't said anything. That's not the only weird thing. He refuses to use cutlery at mealtimes, even though I've shown him how a bunch of times. Plus, he keeps turning off lights before going into rooms rather than turning them on, but doesn't seem to have any trouble seeing what he's doing. And at night, I keep hearing this weird hissing coming from his room. It stops when I knock on the door, then starts up again a few minutes later. The most unnerving thing is his staring. Whenever he's not doing anything else, he just stares up at me. I don't know what he's thinking, or why I haven't called anyone about this. I haven't even been allowed to tell my family or friends. Hopefully he doesn't mind me talking about the situation anonymously. Last night he was standing over me, one foot planted each side of my chest. I woke up to see him staring down at me. I can't take it. No matter where I go, he's there. I can't leave this house. I can't tell anyone about him, and I don't know why. I can't do anything but care for him anymore. It hurts to look away long enough to type this. Something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with me? I don't know which. On that note, there's another one. There's a hole in my floor. Posted by user Siofra14. It's been a day since the monster told its story. Now I'm allowed to tell mine. Mommy said she doesn't want me. That's why she let the monster stomp around without hiding me. It stomped a big hole in the floor. I was scared, but Mommy wouldn't let me hide. She says I'm bad and that she wanted to give me away. She couldn't, though, because the other baby didn't hatch right. I was there when it hatched. I didn't want the other baby to take me away from Mommy, so I was happy it hatched wrong. Is that why I'm bad? I think Mommy wanted the monster to kill me, but it didn't. It went back into the floor and talked to another monster. I watched through the hole. I watched for a long time. It got dark and one of the monsters saw me. It talked to me for a bit, then pulled me away from Mommy. That was okay. The monster is a better Mommy now. The monster doesn't yell at me for being bad. The monster isn't weak like my old Mommy. When it eats, it uses little sticks made of the bad metal, the one that stings when I touch it. The monster tried to make me use the sticks too, but they hurt too much. The monster was nice. It let me use my hands. It didn't yell at me for being bad or weak. Since the monster is so strong, it's a better Mommy. I'm not so hungry anymore. I get to eat a whole lot, and the monster gives me some of its food too. But sometimes the monster wants to leave. That's not what a Mommy is supposed to do. I'll get hungry if the monster leaves. It has to stay so I can keep eating. The monster is really strong, but I'm smarter. I can use my brain to make it confused and dizzy so it doesn't leave. It gets scared when I do that, though. I think it wants to hurt me like my old Mommy did sometimes. But then it sees that I look like a little monster, so it doesn't. That's one of the things my old Mommy taught me about when she thought the other baby was going to hatch. She said the monsters would hurt me if I didn't look like one of them, so I practiced really hard, and now I can look like anything. My new Mommy is close now. I let it sleep so it could stay strong. I don't want to eat all of it yet, but now it's awake, so I have to make sure it doesn't leave or tell the other monsters about me. If it did, they might hurt me or take the monster away so I starve like my big brother did. Maybe when my old floor is fixed, I can bring the monster up to meet my old Mommy. Then it can never leave. And maybe my old Mommy could have some food too. Not all of it, though. The monster is my Mommy, not hers. So, those two are clearly connected and both vaguely creepy. I think, given I have been having coughing fits again, I'm going to read just one more and maybe do this again very, very soon to make up for not being able to get things out. So the last one I'm going to read is Don't Play Tag by Now Kashi. I don't know how to start this because it's a long explanation, but as the title suggests, don't play tag. If you play, you'll die. This entire thing started when my mom was in high school. It started her freshman year and has gotten so much worse since then. You see, this isn't a normal game of tag. Of course it isn't. It's said that this type of tag was created by Russian children during the 18th century. It is said that the bad children had to play this game to limit the population, though it's never been proven to be true. The only truth is the bodies, or lack thereof, that show the game is real. The entire premise of this game is to see who can outrun the rest of the players. But there's a twist. If you're still it by 3:33 a.m., you will die. If you cheat, you will die. If you do anything unsavory, anything at all, you're dead. The only way for you to survive and carry on with a normal life is to tag the entity who's playing with you. It's said that only the players can see this entity, and that it lives all around us. From what some players have told me, it's large and beautiful. It looks like a man, It sounds like a man, but it isn't. They say that it, looks far too perfect to be anything but a wolf in sheep's clothing. The only one who have ever seen it shed its disguise are dead. Other than that, here are the rules and how to start the game. Rules. 1. Do not cheat. It results in automatic death. This thing doesn't care where you are. If you cheat, you will be dismembered in front of everyone and everything. 2. Don't disrespect the being in conversation. It doesn't care what you think of it if you keep it to yourself, but if it hears you talking bad about it, it will kill you. 3. Stay in your town until the game is done. Not only will you die, it'll kill all the other participants as well. Don't be that guy who ended up killing his entire class, okay? 4. Don't look at it for too long. It will take it as an insult and you will die. 5. If you tag it, the game is over. Your touch apparently gets rid of it, but you'll never be the same. 6. To start the ritual, always start it on its designated time. If you start it any earlier or later, let's just say there'll be nothing left of you to find. 7. Don't try to pray it away. It will literally strip you of your soul and disintegrate your corpse in front of your loved ones. 8. Don't speak to it unless it speaks to you. Otherwise, it will take it as an invitation to kill you. 9. Only one game can be played at once. If you summon it and nothing happens, you're fucked. You won't know when the game starts until it's too late. 10. Do not tag those who weren't originally part of the game. You will be killed. 11. It's always watching. How to start the game. 1. Gather a group of people you wish to play with. I wouldn't recommend playing with friends. That's a common mistake, because you'll most likely end up friendless. 2. Go to an open area and set up your materials. Candles. You'll need a candle for each person. Matches or a lighter. You need something to light the candles. Knife. You need a knife for each person. They must cut open their palm and drop blood in front of them. An offering. You need an offering for each person. It must be something you love. And last but not least, you need a change of clothes. The last one is the most important. If you don't have a change of clothes, the entity will follow you home and assume your family is part of it. 3. When the clock strikes 3:33 a.m., you must chant, "Play with me, a new friend I wish to meet. My friends and I want to play a game. Chase us down, tackle us to the ground, a game of tag we seek. Answer us, and we'll be very pleased." 4. After you chant, you must run with your new clothes under your arm. The entity is there, and he's the first tagger. If you're tagged first, he'll take over your body and use you as a vessel to trick everyone there. 5. After you run, change in your new location. After you change, run home. 6. After you get home, sleep. That morning is when the game truly begins. The game is dangerous. I don't recommend playing it, but I needed to make sure you know to never play it. I honestly forgot about this game entirely, but today I watched my best friend run away from her boyfriend. I've never seen two people run that fast in my life. There was a deep desperation as she seemingly ran for her life. It was out by the buses, and I watched as her boyfriend almost grabbed her shoulder, but was stopped by our vice principal. He looked up at the faculty member, smirked, and said, "Tag, you're it," before touching his shoulder. Her boyfriend then got a look of terror on his face. I think he forgot about the rules, but the entity didn't care. He dropped dead right there, right between the buses, and only I, my vice principal, and my best friend saw it. We all knew what happened, but all students were ushered into our buses and were sent home. By now, my entire town knows about this game, and these deaths were nothing new. But there's only one thing that truly freaked me out from this incident. It wasn't the fact that my best friend stupidly decided to play. It wasn't that her boyfriend dropped dead. And it wasn't the fact that I realized we were all unmoved by his passing. What freaked me out was the beautiful man I saw in front of my house when I got home. His features were far too perfect. Not a single hair misplaced, even when the wind blew. His skin clear of any blemishes, his posture perfectly straight. He just stared at me, unblinking, with an enchanting smile. Once I got inside, I knew I had to write this, because it seems humanity's time is up if this game continues. So please, heed my warning. Don't play tag. Okay, so on that last story, holy crap, do I have a little bit of theorizing about what's happening in there, and I'm actually a little bit excited because at the top of the little thread thing for this one, it says series. So, hey, um, I guess a cult club friendos, if you'd like to leave a like or a comment, if you don't mind this random start to a random thing that I'm doing like 100% because I'm sick and my voice is doing like jack squat in terms of sounding like anything I need it to sound like. Let me know if you like this. So maybe I'll do this in between other things. I know I'm definitely going to be doing this at least until I get my voice back in proper functionality. So, thanks for listening and see you again soon.